Hello, boxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Boxing 396. I'm here with lightweight sensation Jeremy King Cuevas, who will be fighting December 1st at the Sugar House Casino. How you doing, Jeremy?
Good.
Man, we spoke to you last year, episode 55, Boxing 396. You had a few amateur fights left, and now you're a pro. 5-0, 4 knockouts.
Yeah, it's been a crazy, it's been a crazy year. You know, between the transition, you know, I feel like we made it pretty smoothly because of, you know, my trainer, the way he trains you it was never to have really an amateur style.
Right.
You know, as many people refer to it. You know, it was to be sitting on the punches a lot, you know, and get the guy out of there. And that's why we got 4 knockouts. So it wasn't a hard transition, but, you know, the journey has been fun already. You know, I just like living my dream. I couldn't ask for anything better.
You've been quite impressive, man. Your last fight on September 22nd, you fought a guy with 45 fights. I believe 32 wins.
Yeah.
That's a huge step.
Yeah. When the promoter Manny called me, you know, he said, "This is what we're looking at. What do you think about it?" You know, without hesitation, I said, "Let's do it," because, you know, I know who I've been in the ring sparring with.
Right.
I knew who I fought even in the amateurs, and I know what I can do personally. So there was no hesitation in it. As soon as they called me, they gave me the name, they showed me a video of him. I said, "Let's do it," and I told everybody I would stop him, and I did.
And you did. And you did.
So.
And a lot of people don't know the past several years you've been sparring with the Hammer, Hank Lundy, top lightweight. So, like you said, who cares?
Exactly. I know who I've been in there with. You know, and you know, everything, like you said, leading up to this prepared me for what I'm going through now. So, I definitely felt ready, and I felt confident. That was the big important thing. So.
You always had a professional style, but what's the biggest transition? I know some amateurs talk about taking off the headgear, the smaller gloves. What have you discovered? Anything new, anything different?
I love that. I love the fact that there's no headgear, there's smaller gloves, there's no shirt. Because to me, that's how a fight is. You know what I'm saying? If you see, you know, you got something on the street from when you were a kid or whatever, it was shirts off and you just go toe to toe, and that's the way I like to fight. And I feel like, you know, the best thing about it for me is there was nothing but positives in turning pro for me.
Right.
I like the weigh-in the day before. I like, you know, the cameras, the press conferences, and then the night of the fight, and, you know, you're able to sell tickets to the people that you would like to, and the whole experience of it, and dealing with a great promoter, coach, and all that, it just made it a great experience. And like I said, it's like a dream come true to you know, be living in your dream.
I've been at a couple of your amateur fights. I remember Tony, at one fight, you weren't listening, and Tony was having a heart attack in the corner. You won the fight, but you weren't listening. How has that changed? I'm sure.
I just try to listen now. When I was a teenager, you know, a lot of teenagers are hard-headed.
Right.
And they, you know, you tell them one thing and they want to do another thing. But what I've recognized is that if you just listen to your corner, you just listen to what your coach is saying, it'll work. You know what I'm saying? They're the pair of eyes that you have on the outside of the ring. They can see some things that maybe you can't see.
Right.
So the fact that, you know, at the time maybe I wasn't listening, I've tried to change that in the pros, and I feel like it's stepped my game up to the next level because just by listening to what he has to say. So
you're at a critical stage, and there's nothing I've studied more than boxing. And you're at a critical stage now. You're undefeated. People are telling you how wonderful you are. The ladies are telling you that you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And people are going to get in your head. How do you filter all that out and still focus and listen to Tony?
Where I feel like I'm at an advantage in that situation is I'm not starving for money.
Right.
You know, I still work. I still have a good family behind me. You know, they got me in a good home. I live in a good home and everything. So it's not like, you know, when money's thrown my way or whatever, I'm not quick to jump on it. I'm quick to just, you know, calm my head, talk to my coach, talk to my family about it, and see, you know, what they feel on it as well. You know, at the end of the day, it is, you know, my decision, but having such great people around me really allows me to make calm, cool decisions.
How do you adjust to criticism? Because I've seen some guys, they're undefeated, they were very humble. They got to 10-0, 13-0, 15-0. People are telling them they're wonderful. And then you have the old school coaches like Tony. They're going to tell you when you're wrong, what you need to do to improve. They're not going to feed your ego. They're just brutally honest. How are you going to deal with that, or how have you been able to deal with that?
He's definitely brutally honest, you know, but again, that keeps me humble. That keeps me hungry. That keeps me, you know, wanting to get to the next level, wanting to become better. And, you know, I feel like he's pushed me, but not too much. And when he tells me something that I did wrong, I take it into consideration and I try to go back to the gym and work on it. You know, if somebody outside of my coach was to tell me I did something wrong, you know, if they were a fighter or, you know, a boxing expert, you know, I would take that into consideration as well. But, you know, I feel like I have my own style. I feel like I'm a lot different than a lot of fighters. So I'm looking to incorporate the style my coach wants me to fight as and my own style and become something great.
See, I have an advantage. I've been watching you for a long time. Actually, I've been in some of your corners with Tony. And I know it's going to happen. You have a lot of talent. You can box. I see you getting to 20-0, and I have to ask you how you're going to handle it. You're going to get to 20-0. You're going to be ranked. Somebody's going to come to you. They're going to give you X amount of money. But Jeremy, you know, Tony took you as far as he can. You need Freddie Roach. I gotta ask. I've seen it happen so many times.
I've seen it happen too, but to me, that's one of the biggest gimmicks out here.
Right.
You look at who Canelo has in his corner.
The old man and his son.
Nobody knows those guys like that.
They've been
except for the local guys. You know, Tony has had great fighters in the past. He's taken me from being 2 wins and 2 losses as an amateur to 45 wins, 45 wins, 5 losses. It speaks for itself. 5-0, 4 knockouts as a professional. So to me, it don't make no sense. And we click.
Right.
Click very, very well. When he tells me to do something in the ring, we just click. And we have a connection, I feel like, that allows us to operate smoothly in the ring. So they can give me X amount of dollars, whatever, but I ain't switching up coaches. That's not something I'm interested in doing.
I have to ask this question. I watch you, and somehow, man, you remind me of Wilfredo Bazooka Gomez. What are your thoughts on that comparison?
That's a high comparison. I definitely appreciate it, but you know, they did great things for the sport. For Latin fighters, you know, there's a lot of great Latin fighters out right now. So I'm just hoping to live up and surpass what they've done. You know, you got to be extremely blessed in the fact that you can't be hurt. You know, you got to maintain your eyesight. You got to maintain all these things that a lot of people don't think about. You know, you got to pass physicals for the fight and all that stuff. So I'm just praying that everything runs smoothly with my health, and I'm gonna give it all I have. I know Tony's gonna give it all he has to make it to the top. So, you know, those guys, like I said, they did a lot of great things for the sport, but I'm looking to go beyond that and do bigger things.
Let's play a little word game. Danny Garcia. First thing comes to mind.
Humble, great fighter.
Felix Verdejo.
Another great fighter. You know, I hope he comes back. I hope he goes back to where he should be.
Felix Tito Trinidad, the Wrecking Machine.
Another great fighter. you know, like I said, a lot of these guys, they did so much for the sport and so much for Latin fighters to be able to do what they can do now, and they've paved the way. So I feel like they've done so many great things. They've given back to their communities. Danny's giving back to Puerto Rico. He's giving back to Philly. So I want to do the same thing. You know, I want to give back. I want to be very successful. I want my family to be successful. I want my coach to be successful. You know, and I want to give back to the community as well. So all those guys that you mentioned, they've done great things for the sport already, and I look forward to doing great things as well.
Okay, what's the time frame, man? You're 21 years old. You're moving rapidly. What's your time frame for a small title, then a major title?
I don't know. Right now, we're just looking to get wins under our belt.
Okay.
Not easy fights, but wins under our belt.
Right.
I want to be nice and ready for that title shot. I feel like a lot of guys from Philly, you know, not trying to put anybody down because I do respect all fighters, but I feel like a lot of guys from Philly, when they do get to that title shot, either they're too cocky or they don't feel like they're ready. I want it to be perfect timing. You know, I feel like there's like almost like a curse on Philly fighters for when they get to that title spot, some reason they can't get it. So I want to be perfectly ready. I feel like this generation of Philly fighters that we have coming up is one of the best in a long time.
It is.
You know, so I feel like I want that to be perfectly timed, and I think with the right people, it will be.
December 1st, what do you know about your opponent?
I know he's tough. I actually saw him fight about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And I know he's tough, but like I said, that's the type of fights we want, and I want to prove to everybody, you know, I'm here for real, and I'm here to stay, and I'm here to hurt people. When I get in there, I'm here to.
We're in the hurt business.
Exactly.
Let me throw this statement out. Golden Boy has Canelo Alvarez. Hard-hitting promotions have Jeremy King Cuevas.
I agree. I mean, you know, hard-hitting, like I said, they have a lot of great Philly fighters. Christian, Brandon,
Pizarro brothers, right.
Great fighters. And, you know, I feel like we're in a league of our own in terms of Philly fighting. And then I feel like once we take over this scene, the world. And, you know, I feel like all of us as a whole can be a wrecking machine. So I'm ready to go.
I know your dad's going to be watching this, and I know you work for him in his moving company. Can we give them a free commercial here?
South Jersey Moving. That's the name of the company.
Where can we find them, man? I got to ask you this every interview.
Sorry about that. SouthJerseyMoving.com. Him and another guy own it. So.
Okay. Yeah. South Jersey Moving. You hear it, South Jersey Moving. This Philly fighter, he is moving thanks to our hard-hitting promotions. And on December 1st, Sugar House Casino, Jeremy Cuevas going for number 6. Thank you. Tony Bersani. Ben, you have one of the hottest fighters in boxing today, Jeremy King Cuevas. Talk to me about Jeremy, his talent, his progression.
From the beginning, I've had him. He looked okay, just wild, just throwing punches, just a tough kid, a lot of heart. We just went to the drawing board and we worked. He listened. I trained fighters to their style.
Right.
I don't change their style. A lot of these wannabe trainers, they want to, you know, change their styles. They want to do all this. I don't. I keep their style. To put his hands down. But Jeremy's got 5 things to make a champion.
Okay. What are those 5 things?
5 things. He's a good puncher.
Which he is, yes.
Learn how to sit on his punch. He's fast as lightning. He moves like Mayweather, which is my favorite.
You're right.
His defense is unbelievable.
Great defense.
And it's got a hell of a chin. He's got an iron chin.
But you left 6 out
we
there.
have-
You left number 6, Tony.
We have it all.
You left number 6 out. He asked Tony Bersani.
Oh, wow.
So,
I trained a lot of fighters at the time, but as far as this having everything, them 5 things, Jeremy has.
it's amazing you would mention that, because last interview I spoke to Jeremy, episode number 55. He said Sugar Ray Leonard was his favorite fighter, and all those 5 things you mentioned, that's Ray Leonard.
Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard, and the best, though. I'm sorry. Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sorry.
How far do you see Jeremy going? And how quickly?
If he keeps his head, I think Jeremy can go all the way. Yeah, as being a trainer 50 years, I can see him going all the way.
You've been around a long time, and people in Philadelphia know you. Talk to me about some of the fighters that you've worked with over the years.
My favorite fighter was Buster Drayton.
The Demon.
Yes. By far, he was one of the best fighters I've ever had back then. Earthquake, Paul Moore,
I remember Paul.
you know, Michael Brown.
I remember Mike.
All these, you know, I just had so many good fighters, you know, and recently Reese Byarm, Larry Robinson. All these
Man,
boys were all good fighters, you know, but Jeremy by far, I think, he has all 5 to make a champion.
all 5 to make a champion. What are some of the things you've been working on? I saw him in the amateur. I was in some of the corner. He's flashy, got good hands, good defense.
Boxing,
Boxing, okay.
make him a boxer, puncher boxer. I mean, if you want to stay there with him, he'll trade with you too. But I don't want it. I want boxing.
Boxing, right.
He hits hard. His legs move so well. I mean, he's just an all-around boxer. Terrific boxer, fantastic boxer.
What was going through your mind when Manny Rivera and those guys, hard-hitting promotions, offered you a fight with a 45-fight veteran, and you took the fight?
And we took the fight, sat down, looked at the tapes, said, Jeremy, we'll take him.
You take him.
Yeah, we'll take him. Make the match.
Make the match.
The match. And the kid was tough, you know, tough kid, but no match for Jeremy Cuevas.
What was the most impressive thing about that fight that you saw from Jeremy?
His aggressiveness.
His aggressiveness?
His will to win.
Will to
Let's
win.
Put it like that. That's it. The will to win. He just keeps on fighting. He just keeps on going. He out punches you. His speed, his leg movement, everything. He just, you know, he just a fantastic fighter.
To take him along that path, and we know Philly's filled with plenty of boxing, who are some of the guys he's been sparring with? I know he's been sparring with Hank Lundy over the years.
We sparred with everybody. I mean, you name any Philadelphia fighter, Jersey fighter, we sparred with Hank Lundy. We sparred with Milton Santiago.
Okay, Milton. Oh, he's undefeated. Yeah.
Yeah, we spar. Anybody. I don't care who they are. Off my head, there's so many fighters I just can't remember names. You know. But as far as that goes, I'll sparring with anybody. We're going sparring right now. We're going to Schuler's.
Okay, you're going down to Schuler's.
You know. Don't care who it is. We'll spar anybody. You know. And he don't get hurt. He hardly gets hit. You know, I don't worry about his sparring. I let him spar a lot.
Okay.
Because his defense is unbelievable. He don't get hit that much.
That's good. That's good. What's the best advice you can give the young fighters? Because we see the father and son relationship between you and Jeremy, and fighters moving up the ladder, people start telling them how wonderful they are.
My advice is to stay in shape.
Stay in shape.
Stay in shape. Be ahead of the other guy.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, you want to, you know, everybody's going to get in your ear like they did all my fighters. I'm not mentioning names, but it's happened, you know. But I just go along with the punch, you know. And of course, he's under contract with me right now. But, you know, we'll see what happens.
Okay. What do you know about his opponent for December 1st?
The kid's a nice, good fighter.
Good fighter?
Yeah, he's 15 fights. He's fought the best. He stayed the distance with Milton Santiago. Yeah, Milton's a nice little, great little fighter, but undefeated, was 16, 17,
Right.
I think the kid is going to be a good fight. He's a tough kid, and that's what I want. I want kids. I don't want opponents. I want kids that are give, good tests.
What's your prediction?
I predict a win.
A win, okay.
I don't worry about knockouts. I just want the wins. I'd like them to go 6 rounds.
Okay. Get the work, okay.
Yeah.
Well, looking at the camera, Tony, tell us something about Jeremy that the fans should know and why they should come out on December 1st.
December 1st, Jeremy is one of the talented boxers in all of boxing. Give him he's going to be 20-0 before you know it. And you'll hear from him, I'd say, in a year or two. You'll be hearing from Jeremy Cuevas.
You hear it, fans, straight from the trainer's mouth. In a year or two, you will be hearing from Jeremy Cuevas. Come on out on December 1st, Sugar House Casino. Jeremy King Cuevas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.